Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Sunburst Sanctuary's Sunday Meditation. I trust that you're all having um, a happy and wonderful holiday season, that some of you are having an opportunity to be with your loved ones during this special holiday. My name is Greg, and our topic for today is Embrace Life. So I struggled tremendously with this topic for several weeks, asking Spirit, what possibly can I do with a subject this large in a few minutes? And so one night I sat down to meditate, and I'd only been in meditation for several minutes when the words of an old song came to me, and it wasn't the words of an old Yogananda chant or a Christmas carol or anything of that nature. It was actually an old Beatles song. And the words are this: woke up, fell out of bed, I dragged a comb across my head. I found my way downstairs and drank a cup, and looking up, I noticed I was late. I found my coat and grabbed my hat. I made the bus in seconds flat. I found my way upstairs and had a spoke, and somebody spoke and I fell into a dream. As soon as those words had passed through my mind, I thought, what in the world does Spirit want me to do with an old Beatles song? And I began to realize, well, when this song first came out, one of the reasons I really liked it, it was called A Day in a Life, is it just depicted that human beings had become so patterned and repetitive and ordinary in their lives. And so I thought that, well, maybe Spirit is trying to tell me something here. William Wallace, who was the Scottish warrior who fought the English in the movie Braveheart, is credited with saying, every man dies, but not every man really lives. As we think about those words from the Beatles and think about his expression, that's true. I mean, think about your experience in the world today. How many people really live? For much of the population of the planet, life is waking up, having that cup of coffee, running to work, working all day, coming home, having dinner, watching TV for a couple of hours, going back to sleep, rinse and repeat. I mean, life is constantly repeating itself in that very ordinary, almost boring existence. And life's only true happiness in those cases comes from wishing for a vacation, wishing for a holiday, wishing for retirement so you can buy a motorhome and travel around the country and visit national parks. But is that life? To eat, work, and sleep is ordinary. Even animals do that. So what is life? Why are we truly here? I remember hearing as a teenager the words of Mark Twain, who said, life is just one damn thing after another. And I smiled when I heard it, because Mark Twain was a comedian. But sometimes that's true. It just seems like we go from one trial, one drama, to another, and life is just a series of these dramatic events. But Yogananda put this idea of life in different perspective. Yogananda was very succinct. He said, the purpose of life is to find God. Wow. The corollary to that would be, if you find God, everything else is added to that. And Jesus said that. Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. So our primary responsibility, our primary purpose, Our primary directive is to find God. I think everyone would agree that all of us as human beings are searching for happiness, searching for joy, searching for contentment in our life and peace in our heart and soul. Well, that seems like a very acceptable purpose for your life. The problem becomes where people search for the answer to that problem. Lasting joy and happiness does not come from the material world. True happiness is not found out there. True happiness is found within oneself, not on the outside. It's already there. You just have to tap into it. There's a famous story that kind of illustrates this principle. It's a story of an African farmer. And the African farmer had heard all these stories and tales about other African farmers who had been plowing their fields or digging a well, and they ran into a mother lode of diamonds, and soon they had a diamond mine on their farm, and they were extremely wealthy and successful, and he wanted that for himself. He totally embraced that idea. And so what the farmer did is he went out and he decided, I'm going to sell my farm, and I'll get a good price for it, and I'll use that money to go and search for my diamond mine. And so he did so. He sold his farm. He took the money, and he spent years going here and here and here and there, digging, searching for his diamond mine. And after many years, he was sick, he was impoverished, and disillusioned. And in a fit of depression, he threw himself in a river and drowned. Meanwhile, the farmer that had bought his original farm was down by the creek one day, and he saw this sparkle coming from the bottom of the creek bed. It was red, and it was blue, and it was white. And he reached down into the creek, and he picked up this large crystal. And he said, wow, this is amazing. And he put it in his pocket, and he took it home. And when he got to his house, he put it on the mantle above his fireplace and just admired this beautiful crystal. Wow, that is really beautiful. And a few weeks later, a visitor came to his home. And he saw the crystal on the mantle, and he went over to it, and he picked it up, and he hefted it. He held it up to the light, and he looked through it. And he said, do you know what you have here? I believe this is the largest diamond I've ever seen in my entire life. And the farmer said, really? Well, where I got that from the creek bed, that was the largest of them, but there's literally thousands of them in the bottom of the creek bed. You see, what happened was the original farmer went outside looking for his diamonds everywhere else, when in reality, the diamonds were already there beneath his feet. True happiness comes from within you. You don't have to go out into the world and try to find pleasure or temporary pleasures or temporary happiness from money or wealth or drugs or alcohol or sex. Happiness is not found in sense pleasures. In fact, you don't have to go outside. You don't have to go to the woods. You don't have to find your sacred grove. You don't even have to travel to India. You don't have to go anywhere. Remember, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. True happiness comes from the discovery of who you really are. And this is a process we call self-realization. No one can give you and I self-realization. You can't You can't get it from an enlightened being. He's not going to give it to you. You have to work for it. You have to roll up your sleeves and do something for it. You can't read your way into self-realization. You can't listen your way into self-realization. You have to work. Brother Norm said one time, and this is just one of my favorite quotes from Brother Norm, who was our founder of Sunburst and was also a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. He said, "Remember, you are equipped anatomically, molecularly, cellularly, right within your own body now at this very moment to fully experience cosmic consciousness, divine illumination, oneness with God. You don't have to go anywhere. It's all right within you. The whole creation is within you. How can you see it? Meditate on it. It is through meditation that we can truly, fully embrace life. It is through meditation that we can experience oneness with Spirit. It is through meditation that we can learn what the purpose of our life is. It is through meditation that we can approach Spirit about all the questions in our life. Here's a bit of wisdom. The closer you live to Spirit, the more joy, happiness, contentment, and peace you'll have. The farther you live away from Spirit, the more difficult it is to appreciate those qualities of happiness and joy. So let's move into meditation now. I would like you to close your eyes. I want you to watch your breath, sort of visualize your breath going in and out, and talk to Spirit. Ask and listen. So welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed that brief meditation. I'd like to, I have a few other ideas that I want to add to this idea of embracing life. Yogananda once wrote this, and I don't know the context of this particular quote, but this quote is very powerful. I expect that he was talking to his closest disciples. He said, "Why are you still sleeping? Offer no excuses to yourself that you're too busy to think of God. When death comes, you'll have to leave all your engagements at once without notice or delay. Then why not now give up some of your useless pursuits and idle thoughts to make time for God?" Wow. I meditate regularly, and I felt chastened by the words of Yogananda here. Am I doing enough? I think this is good advice from Yogananda for a coming year. But some of you are probably thinking, he's not really talking to me. He doesn't know what I've gone through. He hasn't walked in my shoes. He doesn't know the trials that I've had to deal with in my life. I just don't have the time, and I don't have the space to, be meditating and trying to find God. Well, this might come as a surprise to some, but all of us have trials in our life. Every single one of us, even the enlightened beings that we admire, like Yogananda, had amazing trials in his life. When I think of the difficulties and trials that Yogananda had, the first thing that comes to mind is the stories of Yogananda having to be carried to his bedroom at night because he couldn't take the stairs and the elevator wasn't working, and his health problems were so much of a difficulty for him that he couldn't walk. And he suffered from these health problems for the last while of his life. And certainly in Yogananda's case, the loss of his childhood friend, Dhirananda. Dhirananda had been his pal since childhood. He came to America to help Yogananda with his mission. He had run the Ranchi School, and he came to help with SRF at Mount Washington. And during a time of amazing growth with Self-Realization Fellowship, Dhirananda left Mount Washington and left his relationship with Yogananda, and eventually a few years later actually sued Yogananda. And because of the pain that this caused to Yogananda, he left Mount Washington and he traveled to Mexico, pleading with Spirit about the continuation of this mission and whether he was cut out to do it. And many thought he would never return from Mexico, but Spirit helped heal his pain in his heart. In fact, the reason I'm telling you these stories is to let you know that part of truly embracing life is understanding that the trials and challenges that come to our life are not necessarily punishments, but they're opportunities. They're opportunities for growth. They're opportunities for overcoming past karma. But if we begin to look at our trials and difficulties of our life as opportunities, that gives us an opportunity to truly embrace life and to go from point A to point B in our spiritual growth. Yogananda asked us to awaken from our sleep. And for some of us, and you might agree with me, that 2020 was like a deep sleep, or maybe more accurately, a nightmare for some. I believe 2021 will be better, and I would challenge us, including myself, to double our efforts in 2021 to embrace life and to have spirit in our life on a regular basis. I believe that is a strong challenge for each of us for this new year. Krishna once said in the Bhagavad Gita, he said, out of 1,000, maybe one. It sounds kind of enigmatic when you just take it out of context, but what he was saying was, out of 1,000 people on this planet, we're lucky if one truly embraces life. One truly embraces the quest to find God. One travels to illumination. So a few will awaken while the rest of them sleep through their lives, like the song A Day in a Life. We don't have to live an ordinary life, like the Beatles song reminded us of. In fact, Yogananda charged his disciples with this: you must not let your life run in an ordinary way. Do something nobody else has done, something that will dazzle the world. I leave you with that as your challenge for 2021. Dazzle the world. Embrace life. Create a constant companion in spirit, and dazzle the world. I wish each of you a blessed new year, and I challenge you to awaken more fully. Peace. Om. Amen.
See your face, to hear your voice, to feel your touch, to know your love is all I want. This day to see your face, to hear your voice, to feel your touch, to know your love is all I want. This day to see your face, to hear your voice, to feel your touch, to know your love is all I want. your face, to hear your voice, to feel your touch, to know your love is all I want this day, to see your face, to hear your voice, to feel your